Hi everyone!
Hello.
Hope you guys are okay. As you can see, we're not in my living room. We are in Bath. We've just arrived for a couple of days in Bath.
Yeah.
And while we're here, we're going to film as many videos as we can for you guys.
Like a lot.
We've got a lot planned. We'll see how many you can get through because we actually want to be able to see Bath.
Yeah, we would like to see it while we're here.
But we said straight off the mark, we were going through, as soon as we met on the train today, we said, what are we going to do first? And both of us said,
Poldark.
Because last year we ended up doing a video after it had finished airing. It was a while after it finished airing, I think.
It was. I think it was it?
I think I can't remember if I had bought the DVD or it was
yes,
just
you
before
had,
the
because
DVD.
you're holding up.
Oh, okay.
I watched it the other day. And,
oh, right, okay. So, so I had the DVD at that point, and that only came out like a week or so after it finished airing, or maybe even a day after.
October, because I'm wearing your Harry Potter dressing gown.
It could be, yeah, because it's been so long since we've seen it. Literally, we haven't seen each other since March, maybe? something crazy like that.
We're such good sisters, as you can tell.
No, but it's just life got in the way, and we tried to do this trip like twice, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we couldn't, and now we finally have.
It's just life and kids and work, isn't it?
All
it just
that jazz.
all comes...
Yeah, it all came. Anyway, so since last time we could only do the review kind of after the series ended.
Yeah, and it's quite a while. Like you said, it's quite a while.
It was quite a while because we really thought about it a lot, and we really broke it apart, didn't we? Even though we loved Series 3, it had its flaws.
And I think looking back on it, I think we were fair, but I think perhaps
we thought about some parts of it too much.
I think so. Maybe we did dig in a bit too much than was necessary. However, on Sunday last,
Series 4 was back, and I was, because of how we had our issues with the second half of Series 3.
Yes, we did.
I was like, right, give me something. I need something straight off the mark that'll let me know the tone of the series. How the writing, the pace. I needed a wow episode, and I was like, in the end of the first sequence, I was like, hallelujah! We have this is what I wanted the entire third series to be, and we didn't get that.
Well,
and it was like, so we're going to break it down. Let's break down the first episode.
The first 30 seconds.
Give Aidan Turner an award, please, for that.
Praise Jesus. Hallelujah. God is real. Wow. I was literally like...
we were messaging each other, and I think you were on a slight delay.
I was, because I watched it on my computer.
Oh,
because
I watched
the kids are in bed, and my husband's watching whatever he wants to watch, because he won't watch Poldark. No. So I was watching it on my computer.
So you've got a slight
delay.
And I posted on our Poldark group on Facebook that we're members of, saying, girls, because obviously there's international people from all over the world who are in it, so they haven't been able to see it at that point. And we were like, girls, you're going to need a fan or something when you watch the first scene. Because we were like, damn.
I could not believe what I was seeing. And not only that, I've been drinking gin.
So that's going to explain what she's about to say.
I've just discovered a love of gin I did not know I had. And wow, that enhanced the experience. Put it that way. I was hot. It was everything.
Yeah.
That was, but going past the
physical bit where he's standing on the beach and he's seeing the vision of
the look between.
Oh, I just realised we didn't say, obviously, we're going to be spoiling. Sorry, I just... If you haven't seen it, but, I'll put that in the title.
Yeah,
but,
sorry, the look between Ross and Demelza when he said, no, I'm still here.
Yeah, because she said something like,
we saw you swim away. Yeah.
Because she's brought the children to the beach.
Who are so cute.
Oh, my God,
children
are so gorgeous. And he said, no, I'm still here.
I'm still here.
And she says,
and I. And they share a look. And that was my favourite bit about the whole episode, was that Ross and Demelza are trying
Yeah.
so hard to heal their
Yeah,
relationship.
and even though you don't know exactly how much time has passed between series 3 and 4, it's kind of implied because the children, apart from the little girl, I think it's this.
Clarence.
Yeah, I think it's the same little boy who played Jeremy and the same little boy who
Yeah.
played Valentine.
I don't think that much
So-
time has passed. I think it's probably about a month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they didn't address how much time has passed, but it kind of says in that moment that in that space of time they have gone obviously through some stuff and they are moving on. And they're
think-
okay at the minute.
I think they've come to a point where they can both see what they've done wrong and both know that they both have to work to repair this marriage. And that is what I love about Poldark. It's what I love about Outlander as well, that it's the story of a marriage, not just a love story with a happily ever after.
Yeah.
It is a marriage. And marriage has its ups, it has its downs, and the point of it is that you work at it. A marriage needs work, like any relationship needs work.
Yes.
And it's such a, if you think about it, it's such it's a good idea, it's a great idea, but it's at the same time, there are difficulties in marrying two people from two different families.
Yes.
And that's going to bring stuff up. And it's an interesting thing to do. And I love the fact that Winston Graham used his own wife as the model for Demelza.
Mm-hmm.
Like a strong, earthy, passionate woman who fights for who she loves. And I
Says
love
what
that
she
about
thinks.
it. Yeah. And oh my God, I know we're skipping ahead. But the speech at the end, like what everybody has been wanting to hear, that idiot say.
It's taken you all these
years.
Well, it's a lot more years if you think about it in the span of their relationship than what we've been watching. But
that's true. But it's taken
you all that time
so long for you to say, "You're it, love.
Yeah,
you're kind of amazing. Please don't leave me." So
if we go over, let's not. We'll talk about that when we get to talk about the end of the episode. So this episode, we saw, obviously a lot of Demelza and Ross and how they are in their relationship. We saw a bit of George and Elizabeth and how they're doing in their relationship. Yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute. Dwight and Caroline. But the big section of it was to do with a murder that happened.
Yeah.
And the tough. I was practically sat on the edge of my seat during.
Do you know what? Because
this episode,
I haven't watched. I think at this point, in the 70s, these books hadn't been written at this point.
No.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So I had no idea this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I was like, my God.
You're really at the moment where you have absolutely no idea what's happening.
I don't know what's happening.
Apart from
the big thing that will happen later.
This series.
Yeah.
That we're not going to say.
We won't say what that is.
We don't want to say it in case there's anybody here who doesn't know.
It makes me laugh in our first series video.
Just to clarify. That thing, yes.
That thing happens,
is going to happen, yes. So there was a situation of issues with selling of grain and such, and
the only thing, like, note I've got, I forgot, or I don't know if we were told that Zaki had a son.
He's never been introduced on the show.
No, I didn't think so.
He never has. Which is a shame. Because it's kind of like he is part of the community.
Yeah.
Like, all of Jeremy and Clarence's friends and how one of them, I won't say why, but he becomes very prominent in the final book.
Right.
And you followed him since childhood.
Oh, okay.
And you're like,
see, the man was clever.
Man. I was flabbergasted when that got revealed.
Really?
And I was like, are you taking the piss? I'm sorry. I have watched this boy grow up and you're going to make that oh my god, I was really taken aback by that. So he follows them every single step, and he does things in the book which haven't been shown in the series. Like,
Which
especially,
book is it now?
We are.
Because the Black Moon and the Four Swans was last year.
We're still parts of Four Swans.
Oh, it's halfway through
We're
Four
still
Swans.
not halfway, but there's still bits of it that are
Okay.
lingering through, and then it'll go through to next one.
I've only got the first 4 books in the beautiful jackets, and I need them all.
Oh
so,
gosh, what's the next book called?
The Loving Cup?
No, because that's after the Angry Tide.
Stranger from the Sea.
It must be.
Which means there's going to be a time jump.
Oh, no. No, it's Angry Tide, because that's when happens.
Right.
Kind of, yes. And then Stranger from the Sea, because Stranger from the Sea is directly linked to Clarence, and she's a teenager then. Oh, wow. So,
I'm just thinking about the possibilities of what they're going to do to Aidan Turner to make him look older. I'm thinking silver hair.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
so
yes.
This is going to be the series where we're going to say goodbye to more than one person.
I shouldn't be as happy as I am.
I know what you mean.
Because, like, damn,
I'm gonna really miss the person.
I'll miss the person that but not
yeah.
But
anyway. So what I was saying about oh dear,
sorry,
curtains come back. There we go. What Winston Graham did, he told you the story, from when they were little, and he does things which they haven't done in the series. Like all the families celebrate Julia's birthday every year. Mm-hmm. She's always acknowledged.
But they haven't got time to do those things, have they?
But I mean, just for the writing, how he does that, he really gives you time. Like, do you remember in the first series, their servant who had her husband died in the jail, and she had the little baby. Ginny, she grows up, she's married again, she's got more kids, and she owns a shop. She owns the village shop.
Oh, that's amazing.
The sweet shop.
Oh,
so Danelsa takes all the kids to see her all the time. And she's always there for meals and stuff. She's always part of the story.
See,
but
that's
because
the thing about
when her husband died and such, they took her out of the series, and we haven't seen it since.
See, that's the thing about it, isn't it? Is with a series that you can build community, and that's part of it. It's like Outlander is very, very similar. Like, they make Fraser's Ridge, which is this sort a community of people, and you're right. There's Amy Higgins with her son, and her husband died, and all like the intimate details of their lives.
I love, even though we haven't come across it yet, we've already met someone who's going to be very important to Sam.
Oh, I can't wait! I love Sam. Sam. Okay,
let's talk about Sam and Drake, especially this episode, because it links to the corn thing.
It was so good.
So we met the son who kind of turned up, even though he's there kind of throughout all the books, but he kind of just turns up.
Yeah.
And they need to go get grain and such. And there was a whole issue in politics and everything about grain sales, and Pitt the Younger called for an election, which caused a big uproar, which would affect it. And Sam they didn't want him to go, but Sam and Drake went to make sure he came home.
Yeah.
Okay, for his dad. Just said, you know what? Don't you go. We'll go get him. We'll bring him home.
Yeah.
And a fight broke out, and he pushed over one of the men distributing the grain. Well, he was also trying to block them, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy banged his head, and he killed him. And Henry, George's horrible henchman, saw them, told George, and George had them arrested.
Isn't it Tom?
No.
Tom?
Oh, no, sorry, no.
Tom Harry.
Harry, sorry,
Tom
it's the Harry brothers in the book, because in the book there's two of them, it's the brothers, but they amalgamate them into one for the
that's
TV
fair enough, because he's horrible enough, you don't need another one, do you?
Yeah, it's sorry, no, yeah. Well, Harry,
yeah, I get that, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, they're the Harry brothers, and so George has them arrested. And Ross says, I'll do everything in my power to make sure that You'll be okay. You'll be fairly
I'll
dealt
do
with.
everything in my power except tell my wife,
Yeah.
your sister.
He doesn't. He doesn't tell Demelza because. Well, it's a bit.
I get it. I do understand why he didn't tell her.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I know, like, you could say, oh, you're supposed to be repairing your marriage, but is it worth putting her through that?
Well, this is what he says. This is what he says to Prudy. That it's the lesser of two evils. That if they hang and she isn't there, that will be the lesser of the two evils than her being there and knowing everything that's going on.
Yeah, her seeing it and being traumatised by it. Yeah. And knowing I couldn't help them.
Yes, the three of them get the death penalty, the death sentence, as it were. And
they didn't mess around in Georgian England. Once you were given that penalty, it's like the day after.
Yeah, and I loved the mood of it.
Yeah, they did that so well.
I have to bow down to greatness for cinematography this series. The use of natural light, the sunsets, the sunrise, the jail, the light through the jail, and the light actually made out the guillotine.
The editing was beautiful.
My God,
it was fantastic,
stunning. And the bit that I absolutely loved was the moment. It's a very quiet moment in which Drake is asleep. They're in the prison. Yeah. Drake is asleep in Sam's lap. Sam's his older brother, so he's going to look after his little brother. Mm-hmm. And they're testing the noose outside, and the sound of the massive bag just sudden stop.
Made me jump.
It makes Drake just suddenly sit up, and he's so afraid, and Sam just holds him. Because it's all he can do.
See,
it's like, oh my God, brotherly love.
The thing I loved, I really, really loved, was how it broke my heart. I don't know the actor's name, but the actor that plays Zaki.
Yes.
How
I've
his
seen
face,
him at the Everyman Theatre.
Have you? How his face, he was so full of hope that the reprieve would be for Jago as well as for Sam and Drake, and they were like, they only did it for Sam and Drake.
Ross did this impassionate speech,
and it was wonderful.
And it was beautiful. It was wonderful, and he said, "Look, these boys are innocent. That Sam and Drake were just there to get Jago back, and Jago it was an accident. It's not. I think,
but from the law's point of view, the man did die. Yeah, Jago did push him.
Yes,
and that life has to be paid for.
So that's they say literally. The boys are standing there on the block with the nooses around their neck.
Do you know what? Even as an actor,
block is shaking.
Even as an actor, that was bloody terrifying. Yeah. I would be like, I'm sure that they're like harnessed up.
Oh yeah, of course.
But nothing's going to happen to
them. The boxes that they're stood on are shaking. You can see them shaking. The crowd is getting riled up, saying, "Free them, free them!" And then they say, "Right, Sam and Drake are free," and they're like, "Oh, thank God," but not Jago. And then suddenly the guy just kicks the block out from under his feet, and that's it. He's dead.
And the guy,
and the editing, the snap of the rope. Oh God, you heard the snap of his neck, and it. Oh,
and the actor that plays
his scream,
his screaming. And I loved that Ross ran over to him and held him, like properly held his head.
He tried to keep his eyes away.
Yeah, he didn't want him to see.
The line that broke me before the passionate speech and that, Ross said to Zaki, why are you here? Because he couldn't understand. And he went, I was there, I helped brought him into the world, and I'll be there when he leaves it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man.
Because
I saw him in that production of Rebecca, and he played Mr. De Windsor.
Did he?
Yeah, he was good.
Was he really good?
He was good, Mr. De Windsor. It was like, you look so weird without all the stuff on your face and without the long hair.
But a line that I loved was later on when Jago's body had been laid out with the coins on his eyes. And he said, "You lost a child, didn't you?" And he says, "Yes." Julia said, "So you know that?" He went, "Yeah, I know." And like two bereaved fathers.
Yeah.
That, I mean, those moments, this is what I love about Poldark, is that those moments where you have brevity of language, but so much emotion that it's almost like the words aren't necessary.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love this series so much.
It was like that moment when Julia died and you just had him hold her.
Exactly.
And you didn't need to see her die, and he came out and he had her ribbon that she owned around her.
And he says when he's holding her, he says,
I'll stay with her. I will not let her be afraid.
I wouldn't have her be afraid.
Yeah. I won't let her be
and
alone.
it's like, the heartbreak that these two men have been through.
And the fact then he walked out of that room and the way he looks and he's just holding the ribbon. You don't need to have seen Julia's body. You didn't need to see her die.
No.
But that told you everything.
Yeah.
And that was the same moment.
Oh, it was heartbreaking.
But the editing, the music, and the build-up of the tension in that scene was phenomenal.
It was great.
And can I say, the moment when Drake saw Moana, right, because he thought they were seconds before Ross stopped it. He thought he was going to die, and he looked up at the gate, and there she was, and he just smiled and started crying, and it was like, oh, darling, you're breaking my heart.
And do you know what? I loved Tom York as well, because he didn't have anybody to play off of.
No.
He was just literally there as Sam with a noose around his neck.
Yeah.
And you knew he was completely terrified and praying.
Do you know with that moment though, I kind of always felt that, you know how he was very like with his religion. He's like, you shouldn't be afraid. Just go into death. I kind of feel like that moment it kind of made him see more of a reality of the world. Mm-hmm. And by that, I'm not saying that if you're follow a religion that you don't see the reality, because that's far from it. But I think because he was very
militant,
yes, yeah. And this was the moment where a bit of sunshine came out. In a sense, even though it was a very dark moment, it was like, here's the picture.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like the moment where you see a bit of a shift in Sam. Mm-hmm. It's not a massive shift, but he becomes really less militant about his religion, and he becomes more open to things
like women.
There you go.
I'm happy with that.
So we had, that was a massive section of it, and there was a fantastic moment afterwards when Morwenna ran home. Mm. Because with Morwenna...
What's her name? That actress, do you know what her name is?
Oh God, I can't think what her name is. Isn't it something like Alice something?
I don't know. Whoever she is...
I will put it in the description.
Whoever she is fan-bloody-tastic.
She is, yeah.
I don't know how an actress, does it where, you're really upset and then you have to deliver a line as if there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And then your cheek's wobbling, your chin is wobbling, and then you're crying. I don't know how you do that.
You would,
I know.
If you had to do that but then it's part of acting.
I guess so.
Bravo to her. But with Morwenna in this episode, we saw her at the Agatha's grave because they finally put in a stone for her.
It's been months. Bless her, it's been months.
But then you have to...
She would be so pissed off.
You have to, isn't it that thing, though? You have to let the ground kind of settle
yes,
and all that.
Do.
So you do have to give it time, but it has been a very, very long time. And, so they did her stone and everything, and she was there, and Osborne was in the middle of a speech about how wonderful Agatha was, then had a rant about grain and stuff, and it was like, this is so inappropriate.
It really was. It really was so inappropriate.
And, she was kind of there, and then later on there was a bit of a peephole incident. Yeah, that was just gross with Osborne. But she found out about the hangings.
Yes, she did.
And he wouldn't tell her who the people were, who the men were.
Yeah, just they were Methodists.
Yeah, and how he felt about Methodists, because,
he didn't like them.
He didn't like them. And that was part of his rant, wasn't it, at the grave. And then she found out who they were, so she went to see him hang, to say goodbye. And she, obviously, thankfully, he was let go, and she ran home as fast as she could, and she walks into a room, and she's all flustered, she's like, oh my God, and then she hears her husband come through the front door, and she's like, oh my God. She grabs a book, and she sits down at the table, and she kind of calms herself down as fast as she can with her back to him, and he bursts through, and she kind of just very relaxed saying, do you want something? Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, and storms out. Mm-hmm. and then she finds the flowers, the pressed flowers from the last time she saw Drake in the book, and that makes her break down. And I know, obviously their relationship is very toxic, and he's a horrible man.
She's wearing
she always wears a shell bracelet,
yeah.
always. And even though he's a horrible man, that actor is amazing.
The actor is fantastic.
Their chemistry, even though it's a very toxic relationship, it really comes across they're able to do stuff like that, and you can feel that for actors, obviously there's certain things that you have to do as an actor which are very, very uncomfortable, and you have to make sure that you're comfortable with each other first in order to do things like that. And especially, when it comes to things like sexual scenes and that. But even when you're doing something where you have to be really horrible to each other, you have to really get along. And you find that, don't you, in a lot of things, like even say Harry Potter, how Daniel Radcliffe and Tom Felton, who played Draco and Harry, are like best of friends.
Yeah.
Yet when you put them on screen, they're able to go at each other because they have such a good relationship.
Yeah. I remember
such a good acting relationship.
I remember Leonardo DiCaprio was talking about his time on Django Unchained and how he has to say the most horrifically abusive things to the black people in the room. And he would often, they'd say cut.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of problems with that film anyway, but that's a different thing. At the end of the day, he still has to stand in a room and say these things to black people.
Yeah.
And he would cut and say sorry every single time, every single time that he had to say.
It's like that.
And in the end, Samuel L. Jackson took him to one side and he went, "It's just Tuesday for us, love.
Yeah.
It's not not good, but you don't have to keep apologising for it. It's okay. It's just pretend."
Yeah, it's like the actors for 12 Years a Slave, because they were saying that they felt the white actors would get to say, "I'm so sorry," because they were so uncomfortable with it, and they were like saying, "Thank you," but at the same time, this is your character.
Yeah,
this is not you. I know you, and I know this is not something that you would say to me.
Yeah.
So don't fret about it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
But I mean, Kerry Washington said that there were points where they would call cut and all hug each other because the scene was so intense that they all took care of each other as people.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you have actors where, like with Morwenna and Osborne, to bring it back to Poldark, where you have actors that have to do horrible things. I mean, at the end of the day,
if you think about the scene with Elizabeth and Ross,
exactly,
how if you did that at the very beginning, you'd be like, "Oh my god!"
But you call Kurt and go, "Are you all right?
Yeah,
are
exactly.
You okay?" Because at the end of the day, you are still two people,
exactly,
who are pretending to do a thing of violence to one another.
Yeah,
and that's hard to do. I should think
it's very hard to do.
But I couldn't be an actress. I'd be a crap actress. I would.
Same here.
I wouldn't know how. Yeah. I mean, I remember Holiday Granger said she made a film with Douglas Booth, Sam Claflin. And
you're talking about the thingy club? Like this called something like the Brilliant Club.
It's something like that. It's who's the other one that's in it? There's somebody else.
Isn't it Liam Neeson's son? A thingy.
It's Max Irons. Max Irons. Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons.
I don't know because I've never seen the film.
I have.
But something. Do they rape her? Is that what happens to her?
No, she doesn't get raped. Basically, she gets brought into the restaurant. It's Holiday Granger's house.
Holiday Granger, yeah.
And she's been liking, the
Max
Irons character, and they basically tell her, "We'll give you a certain amount of money, and we want you to have sex with him in front of us, then him, then him, and then him." And she's like, "Fuck you," she's and they block her through the door, and they go, "Well, we're not leaving this room until you give us something that we want."
Right.
And it's like, you bastards.
Right.
So they don't force her. She manages to get away.
Right.
But she goes to Max out. She goes, help me.
Yeah.
But he wants to be in the club.
Right. Well,
And
she
and
said
she calls him a spineless bastard. And
when they
manages
called
to get
cut
away.
on that scene, Douglas Booth went up to her and tried to hug her, and she pushed him away and said, "No, don't touch me."
Yeah. It's a
So,
really hard scene.
I mean, for a woman to be put, even if you're just pretending to be put in that situation, must be really hard.
A really interesting one about that is West Side Story, because there's the moment when Anita, she goes to see Tony, after the big fight, and to give the message with Maria. And she goes, and the boys are in there,
and they're pushing her around,
and they push her around, and
God.
they pretend, and one of them gets thrown on top of her, and then the old guy stops it, and because of that, she makes the decision to tell Tony
that she's
dead, and she says, "Pass this on to your buddy," and they call cut, and she had a complete breakdown. At the bar, and she was like, "Don't touch me, don't touch me, I can't do it." And she said it was so strange because I never anticipated I'd do that. We'd rehearsed it'd been fine, but then it's
different. It's different when it happens, isn't it? You can choreograph something like that, but you can never fully know exactly what will happen in the moment. And that must be very, very difficult. But anyway, back to Poldark. Sorry.
So that just shows the fact that the chemistry of these two actors, how it's led to this discussion and this debate, how fabulous it is.
Yeah.
And where that's going to go, this series, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love him. I think he's a fantastic actor. He's a fantastic casting choice. For Ozzy, Osborne.
Osborne, yeah.
Ozzy.
So what? So we've done.
We haven't talked about the man who's after Demelza.
Do we have to?
Okay,
he's got a headache.
He's got a headache. There you go. He invited Demelza to dinner with Ross and Dwight and Caroline. And it was a bit like, okay.
See, I think, I think, what opinion do I have of him?
He's all right.
He's pretty.
But that's the thing with his character. He's very much, he's young. He's interested in Demelza's stuff. But then how Demelza himself. But then he if
I can't love you again, I'll die.
Well, he said there were 3 lines of the poem that I didn't send you in the letter because he sent her a letter with a poem in, and she basically went up to him and said, "I don't think we can. I don't want any more letters from you. You have to stop this." So she was putting her foot down and saying, "Look, leave me alone." And he said there were 3 more lines to that poem, and he reads out the lines, and it basically said that her last glance would be his funeral bed or something. That was something like that, wasn't it? The line, and he basically said that if you leave me, I'll die. And she's like, "Right then, bye." And she walked out.
Essentially, it's
just like,
I'm married. Yeah. Like, what do you want from me? Like, it's not as if
you just want me for kisses and cuddles.
It's not as if even if Demelza would lose so much. If she divorced Ross. If she was even able to divorce Ross.
If she was able.
I don't think she would have been able to, was she?
At that time, probably not. Probably and she'd have to be a woman of high rank, and she'd probably have to. I think she had to appeal to the king.
It's ridiculous. If she would not have been able to divorce him.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Ross and Demelza are soulmates. Yeah. He's just a nice. Right.
I think, but the thing with his character is that thing that he is. He's in politics. He's very young, but he's got the seat and the political power, which greatly affects. So that's because this is going into the politics side of Ross and his part of his story. He's kind of like the wedge into the politics. So it's kind of necessary that he's there, in a sense. Yeah. So, it is what it is.
I don't think he's going to be around long, though, is he, if we're honest?
From what they showed on the preview for the next episode, I don't think so. He's around for a bit longer in the book, but I don't think he will be in the series. Because depends on how much of the angry tide is going to take up this series, and I think it's going to take up to the very end.
Do you?
I have a feeling I think they'd be stupid to do the mid-series, mid-book ending this series, yes, especially because of the time jump. It doesn't make sense. So thus, as I said, I think we're going to be saying goodbye to more than one person this series.
I can't say that I regret that idea.
I have this horrible feeling, right, that obviously for one of them,
Yeah.
for the other one, it's like when I read the book, I was like, I didn't give a damn about them. I was pretty much plotting their death. I was like, you have got to do this, Winston. I'm sorry. But what you've done, no, you don't deserve to live. And then when it happened, I cried.
Wow.
I actually cried.
That's pretty cool.
Because of the way it was written, because of what happened.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, damn it, Winston. You did what I asked you to do, but I didn't ask you to do that to me. It was like, so I think this series, it has to end at the end of The Angry Tide.
Mm-hmm.
It has to.
Well,
I think it does.
We haven't talked about Elizabeth.
Yes, Elizabeth and George. Yeah, they didn't have many scenes, but we were talking about them on the train.
Yeah, we were.
Now there was a scene where George has brought Valentine a Noah's Ark wooden set thing.
Yeah.
And from London, and Elizabeth was saying how it's much appreciated and how he's treating Valentine as his own after the whole stuff of debating whether he was the father, even though we don't know he's not the father. How he had that debate with himself, and Elizabeth made that big speech to him and said how the way she phrased it, it was something like, I never lay with consent, or so, that kind. It was something strange the way she said it. So
she said it, so it was.
So it kind of to George, it justified that he was the dad, but at the same time, she's actually telling him, "No, there's a chance you're not the dad."
What
was
it
really
she said?
strange.
She said, like, I've lain with no man other than.
No, it was something to do with that is talking about the way that she'd laid.
Yeah, because that's it. I've lain with no other. But it wasn't like I've lain with no other man other than my husband's.
Yeah,
it was something.
It
that
was something to do with consent or something.
No, it wasn't.
Not using that word, but something like that. I can't remember.
It was the way she phrased it. It was to George. It sounds like I've only ever had sex with you and Francis.
Yes.
But if you look at it the other way, what she's actually saying is, I've had sex with you, Ross, and Francis.
And then she kind of ended it by saying, "I swear that on the Bible" or something like that, didn't she?
I mean, we said it last time, but the way she manipulated him beautifully.
Oh yeah.
She's picked up a few tricks along the way, clearly.
Yeah. So now that George has accepted Valentine as his, and Jack Farthing last series was my top actor award person for his acting last series. Got wonderful. So this episode was very much George is now trying to get Elizabeth to forgive him as much as possible, even if she said, "I do forgive you."
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make more of an emphasis of it, so he's buying toys for Valentine. He's trying to be more of the family man and such. And even there was a scene later on where he was speaking to Elizabeth about having another child. And what does she do as soon as he said that? Drops some opium into a drink and starts drinking. It was like, okay, so we're still on the addict side of it.
I think she dropped. She put the tincture in the glass and gave it to him. She didn't drink
did she?
it.
I thought she
gave it to him.
Oh,
and then later on, she says, "Attend to your wife," and they have this like love scene, and it's like, okay, I didn't realise you were still doing that, Elizabeth. But
but as we were saying on the train, it was that thing of that she's now able to be comfortable around George, and how, like, if you compared last series, even if she went into the marriage because she needed the money. and she knew she'd be comfortable in her home and all that lot. It would protect her son, and to annoy Ross, let's face it.
Yeah.
That's why. And I always felt like in the previous series, in her marriage, she'd be very much, when she sat in chair, she'd be straight back, this kind of thing. I now feel like if she sat down in a chair, she'd be laid back.
Well, yeah, because the central problem has been solved, hasn't it?
Yeah, she's comfortable
Yeah.
again. So that's kind of, so when she does have sex with George, it's not necessarily a thing of, it's the thing I have to do because we're married. It could actually mean something now.
Yeah.
So she's comfortable. It's
I think she's
what it is.
See, I started watching the first season again.
Oh yeah.
And Haida Reid, to her credit, has done an amazing job with Elizabeth of taking her from a very open-hearted but repressed woman of a class, privileged class, to a frozen statue.
Yeah.
She's done really, really well. If you compare her at the beginning and compare her now, they're two different people.
She's a proper woman now.
She's a proper woman now, but she's closed off.
She's grown, but she's not in all regards.
No. Yeah. And I think she's done an amazing job doing that, but it seems that there's much more sort of how can I put this? She's almost a brain for George to sort of sound off on. We want this, so we have to do this.
Yeah.
She's
kind of you could see, like, in the third series, especially with Morwenna and her marriage and all that lot. She kind of became a second George, the manipulation and everything. And now I think she still has that in her, but she has the ability to look at the picture first before taking action.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a very good thing.
Like, even to the degree that when they were at Aunt Agatha's grave at the beginning of the episode, she thanked Ross for being there. Yeah. She wouldn't have done that last series. Yeah. So she has, she has, thus I think her reaction to let's have another baby, ding, ding, it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
That shows you how she feels. But yeah, she's got more stuff to deal with, I think, psychologically. She's a
hot fucking mess, I tell you what.
But we had a bit of nice news with Caroline and Dwight.
Yep. Caroline's pregnant.
Yay!
And I have to say, I hope that they have a more significant role this season.
They will.
I think it's going to be a lot.
If they go by the book, they will.
I hope that it's a lot less frantic.
Yeah, but it did help last series. We had issue with that Caroline and Dwight and everything. That it was kind of he was prisoner and then he got out and they had like 2 scenes and that was it. And it was the issue because of pacing, because they dragged out the stuff in the first half of the series so much, it meant they had to cram in like 3 years of stuff that happens in like 4 episodes. So they rearranged events and stuff to make it work for them. But then that meant that Dwight and Caroline just kind of fell out of the picture.
Yeah, so I'm hoping this time
there's a lot
there'll
more
be a bit more balance. And
there will be, but
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Something not so good is going to happen too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen this series.
Oh, well, I'm glad that Gabriella Wilde and the gentleman that plays Dwight, whose name I don't know, have more to do.
Yeah.
Because they're both really bloody good at what they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to see what happens.
Yeah. But I think this episode was one of the best there's ever been.
Yeah.
It was so beautifully shot, beautifully acted. The cinematography was exquisite.
Pacing was perfect.
The music, the sound, everything was on point, cranked up to level 15.
Yeah.
It was
brilliant.
Yeah.
So bravo, Poldark
Yay!
people. Yeah.
Poldark cast and crew.
And crew.
All the crew, everybody.
Love you.
This has really put me in good faith for where this series is going to go.
Yeah.
I
still don't own season 3 on DVD. Still.
Oh, Laura.
I know.
It's probably really cheap now on Amazon.
Yeah, probably. But I've kind of stopped buying DVDs unless I really want it, because I have so many now, and I know I've got to like cut down and everything, but then you get series like Poldark and Outlander, and I have a bad habit of going into the CEX shop where they're like 50p and.
Yes, but so you have learned from that with the Musketeers film, remember that? I told you, I will never forget. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later, because we have got a video planned about Musketeers.
That film is so bad.
Yeah, no, but Laura, no, let's not spoil it here. Let's talk about that later, because that was the funniest thing. I wish I had filmed you watching that film, because you were hysterical. I was laughing my head off at you because of what you were saying.
It was
anyway.
It was yeah. We're gonna have to just rip that to shreds later. Yeah,
we're
let's
doing
do that.
Hell yeah. But every single second of Poldark was wonderful, and I was gutted when the episode ended.
I was as well.
I've watched that episode, if you include when it aired, 4 times now.
4 times, yeah.
And yeah, I'm so super excited for Sunday.
Too.
Yeah.
I really, really am.
Yeah, but it's going to be annoying because obviously it's on Sunday and I go off to Stratford on Monday. I can't rewatch it until I get home.
I actually won't be home when it airs.
Oh, won't you?
I'll be at work.
Oh no! Oh God, you're working, aren't you?
So it's fun. I'll watch it when I get home.
Oh,
but it's annoying.
I wouldn't be able to message you back and forth.
I know.
Oh my God.
I really enjoy doing that. Yeah. But no, well done, Poldark people.
Yes, well done.
We loved it.
We loved it. I
love you.
That was a really bad love.
It
you know
was.
What I mean?
Taylor Swift would be appalled.
Oh, I don't care.
She does that to her audience. You see, it's silly.
Yeah,
it's a silly thing.
Anyway, but yeah, thank you everyone for watching this. Thank you everyone at Poldark for making Poldark.
Yes,
we absolutely love you.
We love it so much.
So excited for the rest of the
series. I know.
And yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Indeed, thank you.
Bye.